You might have been the lucky one.
Well, that probably makes sense.
See, it's a compliment to Madison High School?
Yeah.
She doesn't. Okay, good.
That's cool.
Doesn't matter to me.
You want your mints?
Either way.
Do you want your mints?
6:30. You ready?
Quinn, do you want yours?
Rate increase.
I'm willing to share.
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you, Quinn.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of February 22nd, 2026, actually February 23rd, 2026. The date was wrong on here. But anyway, let's call the meeting to order at 6:30. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Aaron.
Here.
Councilman Fleming.
Here.
Councilor Gerald. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Muir.
Here.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Here.
Councilor Wright.
Here.
Mayor Haynes.
I am here. If everyone that is able to, please stand. As Councilor Rohrbach will lead us in the invocation tonight and pledge allegiance.
So tonight is the last council meeting of Black History Month. So in the light of that and the recent passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, I'd like to share some of his words. Progress will not come through boundless liberalism nor static conservatism, but at the critical mass of mutual survival. It takes two wings to fly. Whether you're a hawk or a dove, you're just a bird living in the same environment, in the same world. The Bible teaches that when lions and lambs lie down together, none will be afraid, and there will be peace in the valley. It sounds impossible. Lions eat lambs. Lambs sensibly flee from lions. Yet, when even lions and lambs will find common ground, why? Because neither lions nor lambs can survive nuclear war. If lions and lambs can find common ground, surely we can as well, as civilized people. He went on later in that same speech to say, America is not like a blanket, one piece of unbroken cloth, the same color, the same texture, the same size. America is more like a quilt, many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes, all woven together and held together by a common thread. Let us reflect on Reverend Jackson's words, and may his legacy be a guiding force for this council as we seek to work together to move our city forward in common respect and love for our neighbors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next up is the approval of the agenda. First and foremost, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda for this evening? Hearing none, what is the wish of City Council? Yes.
Motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for this evening. Let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next up on the agenda is presentations. This evening, the first presentation will be from the Oakland Community Health Network. Hillary and Tricia, I believe, are both here from them. We'll hear their presentation.
Good evening. Tricia Zizumbo, Chief Operating Officer for Oakland Community Health Network.
And I'm Hillary Nussbaum, Supervisor of the Co-Responder Program for OCHN.
We're excited to be here tonight to talk to you about the co-responder that you have here in Madison Heights. So I want to start off a little bit about who we are. So Oakland Community Health Network, or as you'll affectionately hear us say, OCHN, we are your community mental health provider here in Oakland County. So every county, we have 46 in the state, and we're also a PIHP, which is a prepaid inpatient health plan. There's 10 of them in the state. Oakland, Macomb, and Detroit-Wayne are both one and the same. So I'll try not to throw too many acronyms at you. So again, we are your community-based local public mental health system, meaning we oversee the public funds, Medicaid funds, and provide services and supports to individuals with mental illness, children with serious emotional disturbances, SED, individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities, infant mental health, and substance use disorder. So we oversee a provider network of probably close to 200 providers. So you'll probably recognize some of the providers that we have are Easter Seals and TTI, CNS, Oakland Family Services. So we are here tonight to talk about our co-responder program. Our co-responder program is part of our justice team. So we have a very large justice team with about 40 staff who are embedded all along our justice system. So we have staff embedded in the prosecutor's office, that liaison with probate in district courts. We have staff embedded in the jail. We have staff that help with parolees and probation. Anywhere that someone in the justice system could intersect and need mental health or substance use assistance, we have a staff there. So we're really proud of this program. Our co-responders are one of those initial touch points. We have 10 co-responders who are all master's level social workers embedded in 20 different communities with 20 police departments across the county. And in case you didn't know, we have 43 law enforcement agencies here along with our sheriffs. And so we are in almost half of those and we continue to grow. We began the CORE program in 2021, and this just adds to our partnership with law enforcement. We have been partnering with law enforcement for well over 10 years. We have a very robust CIT program, which is our crisis intervention team, where we have trained almost 1,400 law enforcement agencies across our county over the years. And so we are very proud of that partnership and really being able to meet people where they're at when they need help and services. So to get a little bit more into the core, which before I turn it over to Hillary, which really has the fun part of the presentation, our co-responder program, again, are licensed clinicians. They are embedded within, they are OCHN employees, meaning they have access and are able to connect to our provider networks. Like I said, more than 200 providers. They have access to our electronic medical record, which means that that continuum of care is really able to happen when they interact with someone and be able to connect them and continue them in services. We partner with law enforcement so that when there is a behavioral health concern, not always are law enforcement the ones who maybe should be responding to that. And usually they're the ones called to. And so not only do we provide that support and training to our law enforcement partners, we now have a licensed clinician who can provide that intervention right there on scene. So we have about 16 logos up here. I'm missing about 4, so we're working on updating that. But we do continue to grow. This program has been funded in part across the communities with differing funding streams, sometimes grants. It's been ARPA funds. Board of Commissioners has offered funding. But the majority of our departments sustain this program through their city councils and within their budgets. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hillary.
Good evening, and thank you again for having us. We're really excited to be here. It's an honor for us. Just a little bit about your co-responders and what they do within your community. Hopefully, most of you have met both Alyssa and Sabrina, who are embedded within Madison Heights, but are responding to 4 communities together. On scene, some of the functions that we do is we help with de-escalation. We're all licensed clinicians, but we really work hand in hand with our law enforcement partners. A lot of that is getting to know each law enforcement officer, how all of them operate. So when we are on scene, we know when it's appropriate to step in or when it's appropriate to maybe not. So we are able to do some de-escalations. We do suicide assessments. We consult on petitions. This is a big one because a lot of law enforcement officers now they might have some knowledge of it, which is great, but they don't always have the knowledge or the clinical language to write on the petitions, and we help support them. So if someone is going to the hospital or the Resource and Crisis Center, one of the things we try to do is go with them and advocate for some of that clinical language that might help that petition turn into a cert, which could turn into a longer, higher level of care for that individual that they might need. As Tricia stated, we have a wealth of resources. Not only do we have OCHN behind us and their resource pool and providers, we also have community resources that since we started this program in 2021, we've really built out what our resources are and who we can call on, and we've built on those relationships quite a bit. For example, Welcome In, one of our shelters for the unhoused. We worked with the CEO over there and recently just helped a gentleman who basically had stopped taking his medication, closed out his case. We didn't know that. They didn't know that. We were able to get the case reopened pretty much right away and get him set up on injections once again, where he wasn't going to lose his spot in housing. If he did, obviously that would have been very detrimental for him. Not only would he be off of his medication, he wouldn't have any housing. So those relationships are key, and those are relationships that we have in addition to OCHN. We do assist with fatalities as well. So this might be car accidents, this might be accidental deaths for whatever reason, hospice deaths. When someone dies, unfortunately, in the community, family can come, witnesses are on scene. There's a number of things that can happen, and we try and be there to help with either those witnesses or the family members who are going to be experiencing some kind of trauma based on that death. So we really try and assist those individuals as well. As I stated before, we link individuals to crisis and treatment providers, one of which being our own Resource and Crisis Center, where we can help get people the actual help and the resources they need right away. Again, as Tricia stated, we are, we have connections with our own providers, our provider pool, so we make sure that if we know someone is connected with TTI or CNS, we can reach out to their case manager immediately and provide feedback and be able to exchange information because we have that ability to do so. We also have a supervisor and hospital liaisons that are within many of our hospitals here in Oakland County. So when we drop someone off at the hospital, one of the gaps that used to exist, people would get dropped off at the hospital, a petition would get filled out, but that person would walk out the door 15 minutes later at the same time we're walking out the hospital. That's a problem, right? Because they're not getting the help that they need. So one of the things we did was we linked up with our hospital liaisons and made sure that even if that person gets let go, which we can't control what the hospital does, that person's going to have a touch point and that hospital liaison will reach out. So we make sure that we're connecting with them and that that person doesn't leave the hospital without having a touch point with somebody who can offer services. When we're not on scene, we assist with follow-up. So every single department that we're in, officers have the ability to fill out electronic referrals for us. We don't work in the middle of the night, but officers do. And oftentimes there's mental health or substance use needs that happen in the middle of the night. So they will send us those referrals. And we follow up within probably like 24 to 48 hours on those referrals to make sure that we are, again, providing a touch point to help individuals that are in need. We help coordinate complex cases. You know, OCHN doesn't directly provide services for dementia, but we're still going to provide resources because we see a lot of that. So we are kind of making sure that, again, we're partnering with the right people who can help us give those resources that people need. So we're constantly trying to find those resources and dig into what we need to help people. As I stated before, homelessness, adult protective services, child protective services, we're involved with those cases as well. As I stated, we follow up with individuals, with family members sometimes. The coordination to keep providers informed is that's a big one. When we look into our system, into our electronic medical records and see that somebody's open, let's say with CNS, even if they're getting the help and they're already connected with those resources, we're still going to reach out to that case manager and say, I just want to give you a heads up. Here's what happened. I want to provide some information so that way they're not missing that information. Because sometimes that's critical, especially if that individual is making contact with police. That can be really traumatic. And we, depending on the disposition of that call, they're going to want to know what happened to their client. So that's really important that we as co-responders, when we're on scene, we try to make that connection happen. We can also obtain pickup orders from a probate court. So it's one of the things that we often do if command is asking us to get a pickup order. If someone who has severe mental illness and we've offered treatment or assistance before and they're not accepting it, and we know that they're at risk of harming themselves or somebody else, we will sometimes obtain that pickup order. And again, we understand that that's a big ask, right? We never want to take away someone's dignity. We don't want to take anyone's rights away. So when we obtain a pickup order, it's because they lack the insight of what they're doing to themselves or what could happen if they continue to go down the path that they go. So that's something that we don't take lightly. We take it very seriously. This is not on here, but I do want to add, in addition, we really take advantage of trainings that come our way as well. One of the trainings that we're really excited about and actually found a couple years ago was a crisis negotiation course that was offered by the FBI. It's a 40-hour crisis negotiation class that really hones in on our skills as clinicians, and it's for police, it's for clinicians, it's for whoever wants, not whoever, but mostly police and clinicians. So I'm happy to say that half of our team has gone through it, and one of our clinicians, actually, who's here with the Madison Heights, is going to be going through it in March. So we really look for those trainings to make sure that we're continuing to stay up to speed on the skills that we need to have. That's really important for us as well. Okay, the fun part. Let's go through some statistics. These statistics are going to look at referrals for the calendar year of 2024 and 2025. So there's 4 communities involved here: Ferndale, Hazel Park, Madison Heights, and the city of Royal Oak. The inception of the co-responder program within your 4 jurisdictions began in, well, technically in June of 2024. Our clinicians were not fully on board or out of training until September. So I want to make that very clear. We started receiving some referrals a little bit early, which is okay, but they weren't fully, out there solo until September. So you can see there's a total of 375 referrals from September to December of 2024. And then in the year of 2025, 1,331 referrals overall for all 4 communities. And let's go to the next one. Looking at this a little differently, you can see since June 2024 through December of 2025, the percentage breakdown for each community and the number of referrals. So Madison Heights is second with 440 referrals overall. That's 25% of the referrals. And I believe in 2026, we've already received close to 100 referrals. I don't remember if that's for Madison Heights or all 4, but either way, 100 referrals in 2 months. That's a great number of referrals. Okay. Let's just look at Madison Heights on their own. From September of 2024, our time of inception, all the way through December 31st, 2025, there's been 440 referrals in Madison Heights. We do want to take a second just to notice, typically in the winter months, there is a little bit of a dip in referrals. That's pretty cyclical, and that's pretty true for police as well. Police calls and referrals tend to dip down a little bit, just based on the nature of the job, what happens in winter. We just don't get as many referrals, and police don't get as many calls. So that's some of what you're seeing there. So just to kind of pull your eyes to that piece. Okay. So specifically, again, for Madison Heights only, this is September 2024 through December 31st, 2025. We not only track co-responder outcomes, we also track police outcomes. So one of the things we want to look at is how effective are our co-responders even with the police, right? And affecting maybe some police outcomes. One of the things we're really proud of is how many people remain in the community. That's the point of diversion. We don't want everybody going to the hospital. We don't want everybody, not that everybody's going to go to jail, but we don't want people arrested all the time. We want to try and divert and keep people in the community if at all possible. Some of that is being able to do assessments, safety planning, those types of things. So the idea is if we can keep them home, let's keep them home, but let's make a good plan for them so they can remain in the community. So as you can see, 53.8% of the people since we started remain in the community, so that's a big deal. 18%, almost 19%, voluntarily got transported by police somewhere, either to emergency room or to the Resource and Crisis Center. Only about 13% of individuals were transported involuntarily. So that's pretty successful, I think. 28 individuals, or 6.3%, were gone on arrival, meaning we went to the call, that individual may not have been there. Again, even if they're not there in person, we tend to follow up later on. We want to make sure that we try to get a touch point with that individual. Okay? That tiny, tiny blue sliver that you see says two individuals. The green sliver is arrests, okay? So arrests is a very, very small sliver there. So that's a really important one to sort of pay attention to. Very, very small percentage of people arrested. The jail diversion piece, to be honest, that kind of includes a little bit of what I've already talked about. It should kind of be remained with the community, but there is a jail diversion actual program that we've looked into. Some officers will hit that button because they're familiar with jail diversion and what we used to kind of call it. So we don't see a lot of those numbers, even though remaining in the community and being diverted away from the hospital or being diverted away from jail is still technically jail diversion, if that makes sense. Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah.
What questions do you guys have for us?
I told Chief it'd be 45-minute presentation, so, and he's got to stay through the whole time.
All right, any questions from council?
I just have one and maybe a
Yes.
comment,
Sure.
Your Honor. Question for you guys. Do you see the demand for your services growing, shrinking, or staying flat? How do you guys see it?
I see it growing. We have partnerships and communication with law enforcement all the time. If we're talking specifically co-responders, I have quite a few departments that would like to have co-responders, and we're trying to figure out funding and sustainability for them. So,
That's outstanding. I 100%
Yeah.
think this is a fantastic idea for our community. The idea that I like the most is what you talked about was how many folks who rightfully so, within the realm of working with our law enforcement, got to go home and be diverted from being put into a system that might not have been in the best interest of anyone. So I just want to highlight that and those stats that more than 53% went home and were identified by law enforcement and you guys as needing other services than intervention from just corrective behavior. So that's awesome. I want to just thank you guys too, and along with our law enforcement, I see you back there, for the work you do, because it's very hard and challenging work. It's not, it helps, in my opinion, it helps our officers and it helps our residents. So I hope we continue to do all we can to support this program from a budgetary perspective. And also, I just want to highlight that I saw, we go on with three other cities, right? Hazel
Yes.
Park,
yeah,
Royal Oak, Ferndale.
yes.
And looking at those numbers, do we go on evenly, 25, 25, 25?
Right now, yes, that's how the
Currently,
funding is set
it's
up.
grant funded currently.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Looks like we got our money's worth, because we were at 25%. So,
Absolutely.
break
And I
that
think one thing that is not in our stats, that even when we began this program that we didn't realize, is the mental health support for our first responders. So we have, obviously responded to Oxford, responded to Rochester, responded to Grand Blanc, but also responding with peer support at the county level, provided training for peer support with our law enforcement, but also provided that mental health support for our officers, including our fire and first responders. So that is one thing I think that the data doesn't show. That is also a big focus of ours as well.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Not a question, just a comment. Last year, I'm a recipient rights officer in my real job. But last year, we went to the 33rd Recipient Rights Conference, and we had the same presentation, similar, but it was actually for the city of Detroit. One of the things that I found most rewarding is that when officers responded, they, instead of a person looking at them in the man or woman in blue, the person in blue, they changed their color of their clothing, and they're wearing green now. So when they sit there, those people that are going home are more receptive of talking to someone because they get nervous when they see the blue. So seeing the green helped to calm them down, helped to make it a little bit easier. And those persons, those co-responders, would not just go in and spend that 10 minutes because they got to get to the next run. They're there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, consulting and consoling someone with a mental health illness. And I took that back into the job because our officers, our security officers, will respond to a rapid. And they're coming up there in their blues, and you're only heightening the person's mental state that they're in, because they don't know if they're getting ready to be arrested. They don't know if they're getting ready to be shot, because they're probably hearing other voices that's going on. This program, in my opinion, is one of the best programs that all the counties could have put together. And I am looking forward and hoping that our budget does sustain so that we can continue this. We need this support. So thank you, ladies, so much.
Anyone else?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I know this is not about the co-responder program, but just recently there was a change at OHTN about the Common Ground, and you guys taking over some of what was happening at Common Ground into OHTN. Can you kind of go into those programs of what the change is and what you're taking on there, so that we can kind of be informed about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are directly providing crisis services now at the Resource and Crisis Center. The adult provider prior to that was Common Ground, and they informed us on January 29th that they would no longer be providing those services on that day. So since then, I'm happy to say that the Resource and Crisis Center has been open 24/7, where individuals can still walk in and be able to be triaged, be assessed, meet with a clinician, a nurse, and have a psychiatric consult. With that, we are working through some licensing to continue opening the stabilization unit and the residential unit. Our sober support unit has been open since then and has been full in the last 3 weeks since that happened. And so we are directly providing those services now at the same location. So want to make sure that the community knows that those services are still available and open.
All right, thanks.
Anything else? All right, I just have a comment. So I remember attending some of the meetings at the Community Health Network back in 2021 when this was all getting kicked off, and it has been long overdue. I mean, much needed, because, you know, police officers, fire, EMS, they're all expected to be counselors at a lot of calls. They're expected to have all of this training, and you guys have filled an amazing need in mental health. So I give all the respect to everyone that does it, all of our law enforcement and fire and EMS. Just a fantastic job and something that has been needed for a long time. So thank you again.
Great, thank you.
I do just want to add one more comment real quick, sorry. I just want to say thank you to our police partners, because without them, we also wouldn't be where we are, because their partnership has just been an incredible ability for us to actually get to do what we do. If they didn't buy into this, if they weren't part of this program, we wouldn't be able to do this. So it's been an incredible partnership. They train us a lot on scene safety, situational awareness, making sure we're safe. And their job is to also keep us safe. So it's really this incredible benefit that we have in partnership. So I just want to give a shout out to our police partners just across the board, because they've been instrumental in our program. So.
Absolutely. It's definitely from the top down. Our chiefs have been side by side with us and presenting about this, advocating for this. And so we really appreciate that. So, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a second presentation this evening on redevelopment ready communities certification, and we'll be hearing from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation on that.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Haynes and council members, for having me this evening. Sorry, can you hear me okay? Okay, wonderful. My name is Stephanie Peña. I'm a senior community planner at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and I'm really excited here today to help commemorate the receipt of your redevelopment ready communities certified designation. I'm joined here today with our Senior Redevelopment Services Director, Jennifer Tucker, and Senior Community Development Manager, Dominic Romano. Sorry, my brain is lapsing. It's been a long day of visits, but we're really excited to be here and to have our whole regional team here to support and recognize the tremendous efforts that the community has made in RRC. So for those who may not be aware, RRC is a statewide technical assistance initiative that works with municipalities to help streamline and modernize zoning, planning, and economic development practices. So all the efforts that are happening sort of foundational behind the scenes to help support a vibrant economy and built environment within your community. It is exciting that that Madison Heights is joining 88 other communities statewide in receiving this designation. It's a designation, an initiative that's been with the state for about 13 years now and has been a tremendous support system for a lot of communities in building capacity, receiving technical assistance, as well as technical assistance grant dollars to help pursue modernizations to different planning and zoning efforts. So success can be measured in a multitude of ways in engaging in this program. Simple things such as process improvement, streamlining documented standardized operating procedures, trying to be mindful of ensuring that development resources are clear and put up front for residents and potential investors to ensure that we're not only ensuring that developers have the resources necessary to cut the red tape to develop projects in your community, but also that you're empowering your local residents and local business building owners to reinvest in Madison Heights. And then also looking at how do we coordinate strategies, whether it's done within your master plan, your economic development strategies, other forms of documents that help a community try to build that vision of this is where we want to be, what are the steps that we need to take to get there. And as you guys continue to participate in the initiative, which we're very excited and have many, many great things to say about the involvement of your Community and Economic Development Director, Giles Tucker, as well as City Planner Matt Lonstetter. There's been tremendous effort made towards ensuring that the implementation of this toolkit has been done thoughtfully, because ultimately it's a flexible toolkit, but communities only get out as much as they put in. And I'm very happy to say that Giles, as well as the rest of the team, has been very thoughtful about leveraging the toolkit to leverage great change. And we see that there's already tremendous economic development strategy within the community, so we're just here to supplement that and be of a resource. We're very excited for the upcoming master planning processes, as well as everything that's happening along 11 Mile, and we'll continue to be a support. I think one of the major benefits that we wanted to explain today is that going forward, we're looking at a 5-year designation period where their community will now have access to Jen Tucker and her services. There's additional tools that Giles and his team can take advantage of from our team. And then excitingly, the opening funding round for Match on Main, which is a statewide funding tool for small businesses, is coming March 1st. And the city of Madison Heights will be able to dive into that funding round if they choose to do so. So thank you all. I'm always happy to answer any questions you guys may have, but we have a formal award, and I don't know if you wanted to say anything.
Yes, just very briefly, this is it's a big deal for the Community Development Department. We started this process with the MEDC about 5 years ago, so we're very pleased to be here at this point. Wouldn't be possible without the support of City Council, our city manager, and the team in CED. It's really exciting to get to this point, and what I find I'm very passionate and very excited about is now that we have reached this, attaining the certified communities status, it opens up a lot of support at the state level for technical assistance dollars, as well as to help market our priority redevelopment sites. So this has really laid the foundation for a lot of exciting new development in the city of Madison Heights. Coming in over 5 years ago now, 6 years ago, I've been here, we had a lot of good practices in place, but they were in somebody's head and they weren't down on paper. So a lot of that was just formalizing the great things that this community already does. But with that, I'm just happy to be here and appreciative of the MEDC for being here as well. So, thanks. This is pretty cool. You
You
guys
can
want to
do
take a
one with
photo?
all the council if you want up front there.
Any comments from council? Top of that.
They're gone.
They left. Very good.
Your Honor, I do have one thing I want to say about
Yes.
it, is that, I think a big part of what made this possible for us to get to this point was the work of the Planning Commission and the rezoning that, totally rezoning the city of Madison Heights over the last, I think it took 5 years to redo the entire zoning book, I don't know what we call it, but, as members of council, staff, and I especially want to recognize the volunteer community board members from the Planning Commission that spent countless hours in meetings working on that zoning update so that we could be at this point to access the potential funds and resources of the MEDC. So I just want to say thank you to those who participated in that process.
Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on, there's no public hearings this evening, so we will now open the meeting to the public. I would just ask that anybody from the public that wishes to speak, that you limit your comments to 3 minutes and direct your comments towards me as the chair. Public comment is open.
Hello, Chair. Paul. My name is Alyssa Tauby. I'm the Community Engagement Representative from the Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner's Office that is assigned to your community. So I just wanted to take a few minutes of your valuable time tonight to introduce myself, show my face. I've spoken to some of you over the years via email, but it's always nice to put a face to the name. I brought some folders I would love to hand out and leave with you, if I may, Councilwoman. Inside those folders, you're going to find my business card. If you ever need to reach out about any kind of question or concern water resources related, I either know the answer or I know who does. I've been with the office for 13 years now. If you flip that card over, you're going to find my personal cell phone number because it is glued to my hand. So you can get a hold of me, text, call anytime, truly. You're also going to find some public education materials. I just wanted to promote the fact that we have a lot of outreach resources. So if you're ever having any water resources problems in your community that you want to help spread the word or awareness about or educate the residents about, we have a lot of things that we already have that we could share with you, but we can also create things specifically for you. And the last thing that I will mention, if you scan that QR code on the folder insert, it will actually show you our public education materials page. So you can grab things off of there freely, or you can reach out to me if you'd like something specific created for your community. On Thursday, April 30th, from 9 to 11:30 a.m., we're going to be holding an event at the George W. Kuhn Retention Treatment Basin. You may have seen some stuff in the news about that recently. It is a state-of-the-art facility. It really is phenomenal, but it's difficult to understand the enormity of it. So we'd like to invite all of you or your city manager, treasurer, clerk to come join us from 9 to 11:30 that morning. We'll have expert presentations. You can learn more about the management of drinking water, stormwater, drains. We'll also have a facility tour at the end of that day. So you're going to see some email invitations with a link to register. It's totally free, coming soon. And on behalf of Commissioner Nash, I'm just really grateful for your time, and I look forward to any way that I can serve you or your community. Especially, I'd like to add, if you're having any kind of like a community resource fair or an outreach event where I could come and have a table and be available, please invite me. I want to be a resource to you, but also to your residents. I grew up in this area, and I like to be of service. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment this evening?
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Louis Kerman. I live at 30601 Whittier Avenue. And I'm here to speak in strong support of the resolution opposing the GLWA wholesale water rate increase and to urge this council to take that opposition even further. The 6.83% increase doesn't happen in a vacuum. It lands on the kitchen tables of seniors on fixed incomes, on single parents already stretched thin, on small businesses between 12 and 13 Mile and John R., who are still clawing back from years of economic hardship. And what makes this especially painful is what GLWA itself admits, that this increase is being driven in part by declining water consumption. In other words, families who are already conserving water, doing the right thing, are being penalized with higher per-unit costs for it. That's backwards. It's not how public utility should work. And this rate hike doesn't come alone. It arrives at the same moment Madison Heights faces an unfunded state mandate to replace lead service lines across our city. Our residents are being asked to shoulder the cost of infrastructure neglect that spans decades with no dedicated state or federal funding stream to make it manageable. Clean water is not a luxury. I follow the Working Family Party, their People's Charter. They say it plainly. Every person deserves clean water to drink. This is not a partisan issue. It's a basic human right. So I urge the council to adopt a resolution unanimously and loudly, but don't let the opposition end there. Send this resolution to every state legislator representing Madison Heights. Send it to GLWA's board before their public hearing. And call on Lansing to establish a permanent, dedicated public fund for lead service line replacement, so that this burden stops falling on the ratepayers who can least afford it. So the people of Madison Heights didn't create the aging infrastructure nor GLWA's financial model, but working families are always the ones left paying for problems that they didn't cause. And this council has the chance to stand with them tonight, so please do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would make public comment? Okay, seeing none. Oh, we have one more to be read in.
Yes.
I almost missed it again. Go ahead, Clerk.
All right, this is from the Oakland County Treasurer's Office. The Oakland County Treasurer's Office is in the final stretch of their foreclosure prevention efforts. The tax foreclosure deadline for the 2023 and/or prior year's taxes is on March 31st, 2026. That means if these taxes aren't paid off by March 31st, or any interested party hasn't entered into a repayment schedule with the Treasurer's Office by then, the property will be foreclosed. Since December of 2025, the Treasurer's Office has conducted over 1,000 taxpayer assistance meetings to assist taxpayers with keeping their property by working with them to get on a repayment schedule and/or by identifying resources that may be beneficial to them and their situation. We are here to help and strongly encourage taxpayers to contact us before the tax foreclosure deadline if they have delinquent taxes for the 2023 and/or prior tax years. Taxpayers interested in scheduling a taxpayer assistance meeting may call the Oakland County Treasurer's Office at 248-858-0611, or they may visit www.oakgov.com/treasurer. Thank you, Robert Winberger, Oakland County Treasurer.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, public comment is closed. We will move on in the agenda. Next item is the consent agenda, where we have several items listed tonight, so I will go over those first. The first one is an interlocal agreement, a third amendment for the My Life Clinic participation with Oakland County. The Metro Detroit Chinese Alliance Church, a fee waiver for consumer fireworks. From the Director of Public Services, the resolution opposing the GLWA rate increase. Of the City Clerk, Board and Commission appointments, Council appointments. Also the City Clerk, Board and Commission appointments, Mayor appointments. City Council special meeting minutes of February 9th, 2026. And the City Council regular meeting minutes of February 9th, 2026. Before moving into a discussion, I would like to verbally read our resolution regarding the Great Lakes Water Authority and what our resolution says. I think it's very important. I know that sometimes it gets kind of redundant that I'm saying all the whereases, but in this case, I think it's important for the citizens of Madison Heights to know that we are doing all that we can to try to oppose some of these rates that are being passed on to our residents. So with that, I will read the resolution. Whereas the City of Madison Heights is a member partner community of the Great Lakes Water Authority, commonly what I call GLWA, and purchases wholesale water from them. And whereas Gliwa has proposed wholesale water and sewer service charge increases for fiscal year 2027, with average system-wide increases of approximately 6.83% for water service. And whereas these proposed increases exceed Gliwa's overall budget growth and will result in higher wholesale charges to member communities regardless of local consumption trends. And whereas the City of Madison Heights does not control Gliwa wholesale rates and is required to pass through these increased costs to residents and businesses through the local utility rates. And whereas Gliwa has identified declining water demand and reduced investment earnings as contributing factors, resulting in higher per-unit costs that disproportionately impact ratepayers even as overall water usage declines. And whereas municipalities across the state of Michigan, including the City of Madison Heights, are concurrently facing significant financial obligations associated with state-mandated lead service line replacement requirements, which are largely unfunded mandates without a permanent dedicated funding source. And whereas the cumulative effect of rising wholesale water and sewer rates, unfunded infrastructure mandates, inflationary construction costs, and aging utility systems places increasing financial strain on local governments and residents alike. And whereas access to clean, safe, and affordable water is a fundamental public necessity, and rate increases should be balanced against the ability of households to absorb additional costs. And whereas Gliwa has scheduled a public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2027 water and sewer service charges, providing an opportunity for member partner communities to comment and advocate on behalf of their residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Madison Heights formally opposes the proposed fiscal year 2027 Gliwa wholesale water and sewer rate increases as currently presented due to their impact on affordability for residents and businesses. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Gliwa Board of Directors. All right. With that, on the consent agenda, what is the wish of City Council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that council adopts the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt as presented. Do we have a second? Yes.
Support.
All right, we have motion and support. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Yeah, I really support this GLWA resolution because it is really becoming really expensive for water. You know, when we have a lot of people that really can't afford water, and we're now, all of us are helping fund throughout the state for helping others that can't afford it by building a fund, but also that, you know, the cost of living and the pay increases are not matching what the Gliwa increase is. The Gliwa increase is 6-point-something%, and the cost of living, like from Social Security increase, is not even 6% right now. So this is going to be a burden for a lot of the residents. And I also say that we're just a 7-member body right here that when we write a letter, it's only seen as one person, really. And so it takes a village almost to send letters and call and go to these board meetings for Gliwa and DTE also to voice your opposition for these increases. And I really hope that everybody can email and call and show up to these and oppose these these increases for the utilities because it's really being a burden on our budgets. And so that's what I have to say today.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I just want to add, no, we didn't add it in there, but I just asked that we forward that to our state rep and the state senators and our county representatives as well, and urging them to bring forward similar resolutions as Councilman Fleming stated. I mean, this is something that we aren't the only community in the area doing it. Hazel Park's doing it, Ferndale's doing it, so there's a lot of support for it. But if our county folks and our state folks can all get on the bandwagon, that would be fantastic. So,
Thank you. Any others?
Your Honor, I'm going to reiterate what everybody said, but, you know, along with our fellow Southeast Oakland County communities, Hazel Park, Royal Oak, Ferndale, Berkeley, That's a pretty good chunk of this southeast Oakland portion of our, of the county. And, not only are we being asked to consider or take this 6.83 increase, but we've had multiple issues with Gliwa over the last year where the facility has caused water main breaks here in our community. How many, Melissa?
At least 63, probably more than that at this point.
63 in the last year. I think well over $1 million worth of, between labor and cost to repair those things for our city. So in addition to the wholesale water rate increase, we're incurring these problems in our city based on that, and it's just unacceptable, completely unacceptable. And as our commenter had mentioned earlier tonight, the fact that people are using less water, we're being responsible ecologically and, sustainability-wise, and yet we're going to start paying more for those same resources. I get things cost the same amount of money to run, no matter how much is used, but we also have to figure out a better solution, and this is not it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Your Honor, I got one other thing. I know
Yes.
we also, one thing is also the M-Life participation with Oakland County for our employees at our city. And that's another thing that we were doing here I think that's really important to help out, offset the prices that are increasing for healthcare deductibles and the cost of healthcare overall to our employees, that we have a small clinic in the basement of our city hall here where they can come and, get health, screenings and shots, I believe, and other things that they can get at the clinic that would help defray some of that cost that they have for healthcare. So I really think that's really important that we're doing that.
I would agree. Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries. All right, next on the agenda is under ordinances. First one is City Attorney, ordinance number 2210, amendment to the number of adult use marijuana facilities licenses, second reading.
This ordinance amends Section 7-405C of the city's adult use marijuana facilities ordinance to reduce the number of adult use marijuana facilities licensed, retailer, and processor issued in Madison Heights from 5 to 4. Further, this ordinance will limit the number of transporters to 1, safety compliance facilities to 4, and grower Class Cs from 25 to 8. Staff recommends City Council adopt ordinance 2210 on second reading.
Okay, thank you. What is the wish of City Council?
Your Honor, Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance 2210 on second reading.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
All right, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Up next, City Attorney, ordinance number 2211, amendment to the number of medical marijuana facility licenses, second reading.
This ordinance amends Section 7-305D of the city's medical marijuana facilities ordinance to reduce the number of medical marijuana facilities licensed, retailer, processor, and grower issued in Madison Heights from 5 to 4. Further, this ordinance will limit the number of transporters to 1 and safety compliance facilities to 4. Staff recommends council adopt ordinance 2211 on second reading.
Thank you. What's the wish of City Council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
motion to adopt ordinance 2211 on second reading.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Support.
All right, I have a motion and support. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The motion carries. Next up, City Attorney, ordinance number 2209, amendment to adult use marijuana facilities hours of operation, second reading.
This ordinance amends Section 7-312E of the city's adult marijuana facilities ordinance to extend the permitted hours of operation for licensed provisioning centers from the current 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. framework to 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. in order to match actual practice in Madison Heights and align with regional norms within a proximity of 10-mile radius. Staff recommends City Council adopt ordinance 2209 on second reading.
Okay, thank you. What is the wish of City Council?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I recommend City Council adopt, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2209 on its second reading.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Support.
All right, we have a motion and support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The motion carries. And the last ordinance, the city attorney, is ordinance number 2212, amendment to medical marijuana facilities, hours of operation, second reading.
This ordinance amends Section 7-312E of the city's medical marijuana facilities and changes the hours of operation from the current 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Staff recommends City Council adopt this ordinance 2212 on second reading.
Okay, thank you. What's the wish of City Council?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that City Council adopt ordinance number 2212 on second reading.
Okay, is there support?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Support.
All right, you have a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say no. The motion carries. All right, we are at the end of the meeting and time for closing comments. This evening, we will start with Councilwoman Aaron.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have nothing.
Mayor Pro Tem Meir, the floor is yours.
Wow, a lot going on in the last couple of weeks. We had a Madison Heights Community Coalition meeting. They were very excited to hear about the changes we're making in the marijuana licenses. So they were glad to hear that, as am I, that we're reducing the number of the Class Cs from 25 to 8. That's wonderful. Huge supporter for the co-responder program. As we've mentioned, several other council folks mentioned, it is a much-needed help to our law enforcement folks, and we would all love to see it continue and grow. That's going to take some money, and so hopefully we can get support from some of the folks around there, or find some grants, or the OCHN can continue to help us. Oakland County can continue to help us, because the benefit of that program is just astronomical. So hopefully we can figure that out. Ended Random Act of Kindness Week last week. Ended it by attending the MML EOA Winter Summer. That's the Michigan Municipal League Elected Officials Academy. So I attended 9 hours of training on Friday night, Saturday morning. And snuck in some birthday parties for my two stepchildren and my youngest son. I neglected to mention last meeting was his birthday. And one of the sessions, speaking of GLWA, one of the sessions that I attended was about rates and how to set your rates for utilities like that. And City Manager Marsh and I will have a lovely conversation about that later this week. I'm sure she's looking forward to it. As I mentioned, I like being up to date on things and getting trained, and I'm happy to say with the attendance at the conference this weekend, I will be graduating at CapCon, getting my level 1 certificate. So pretty excited about that. As I mentioned, the very first meeting I attended, I am really big on staying up to date and staying educated on the things that are happening in the state and how we can be better servants to our residents. So glad to receive that. I believe Councilor Gerald and Mayor Haynes will be attending that conference as well. So, and City Manager Marsh is going to make sure she's got her batteries charged on her phone. Hope hopefully I don't trip walking across the stage. And a shout out to the EOA. It is a great program. It's a great resource. I would encourage us to continue as council members to try and get to some of these events. And I'm glad that Councilor Gerald and Mayor Haynes are jumping in right here with the first CapCon conference. So that'll be a good introduction for them, and hopefully, like I said, we keep utilizing those resources. They have a lot of online classes, so I'll get off the soapbox on that. But I do encourage that we continue that, and I'm on to level 2. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilor Wright.
Well done, Bill. I first want to reiterate my support too for the co-responder program. I hope we get to a point to where it is baked into our budget. City Manager Marsh said something that I hope resonates. She said we have a grant for it, so that means we got to replace that money. So I hope that as we look at our budget for the coming 5 years, we find a way to make that work, because I think it's a cost-effective measure in the long run, where it will save us more money than it will cost us. So systems have to be replenished, they have to be updated, as you talked about training, and this is something that I think in the long run will save our city money. For the folks who, worry about the cost, I think in the long run it'll be a cost savings to us. So I hope that we continue to find a way to make that happen. I did want to highlight on another note that the HRAC is having an adaptive game night on March 25th. What is an adaptive game night? It's for our ADA community, our ADA families to come out. They have games, they'll have snacks included. It's going to be at the Madison Heights Public Library. It's for adults and teens 16 and up. Examples will be like they'll have Uno cards. With the Uno cards, we'll have some sensorial things on them to make them easier to handle. The lights will probably be dimmed a little bit low. Sometimes this light can impact people differently, sound can, and so the point of the adaptive game night is to have an opportunity for folks to come out. So it's their second or third one, so come on out and be a part of that. On another note, I'm kind of all over the board, but sorry guys, I had a couple notes here. I had a couple residents reach out to me with regard to concern about flock cameras in our community. And I know that they provide us with a lot of great features and safety, but there was concern about misuse. And so, I don't know, I guess I would just ask staff to provide us with just a little bit better understanding of how we are using them, but most importantly, how our agencies outside of our city utilizing our flock cameras. So, because I know it's a part of a nationwide network. I wanted to just applaud again our OCN partners and just talk about a term we should learn more about, which is restorative justice. Our justice system, in most part, is made to punish, not to restore or help or heal or to help people get better. And programs like the first responders is a part of that. And that's why I highlighted before the idea, like how many folks didn't just end up going to jail and cops didn't just have to take for someone else to deal with or tie up their time. So restorative justice is something, again, that's a good investment and helps save us money over time. And finally, I know that tomorrow there's a press conference between the MML, SIMCOG, and other groups opposing statewide legislation with regard to zoning. I'll let City Manager Marsh and others speak to it more, but it's critically important that we all oppose that as residents and as a council, because it does take away our authority in some regard to our own zoning, which we need to always own as a city and as a community, not the state. So I just want to say publicly, I know my partners and I here, we all are opposed to it, but that we do everything we can to oppose that as well. So, and I know city manager and staff are doing a great job getting ahead of it and making sure we're aware of it. So finally, I'll just remind everyone as we end out Black History Month and we just come off of Valentine's Day, remember to be kind and remember that like we see our historical commission and the work that they do and the posts that are being posted. And, you know, you think about Jesse Jackson just passing away. And for me personally, I realize that like, you know, you don't realize how close you are to standing on people's shoulders to be where you are. And the work that they did, the doors they opened, the places that they stood when you couldn't stand. When I think about Reverend Jesse Jackson standing next to Martin Luther King, having conversations before I was even born for me. And we at Elm City Council, in some ways, in a small way, I don't even want to compare us, in a small way, are opening doors for others. So let's do that, but let's first remember just to be kind. I'm done.
Great, thank you. City Attorney Tim Burns.
Just briefly, I know that there's a big proliferation of gambling that's legal now on phones, on computers, and so on. But that hasn't made gambling in buildings just legal. And if you're going to go gamble, you need to go to a licensed, approved casino. We've had a rash recently of having to go in and confiscate slot machines with gambling going on within the city. I just want everyone to know that's out there, that if we find those machines and there's gambling going on, they will be confiscated. Any proceeds from the gambling on the premises will be forfeited. So if you want to have a gambling operation, do it legally, get a casino license, or do it online and get an approved license for that. But don't just put the slot machines in your restaurant, your bar, your hotel, your coffee shop, all sorts of other places, because someone will eventually be unhappy that they've lost and tell us, and we will take action. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. City Manager Marsh.
Just two things. First of all, to address Councilor Wright's question or comment, there are four bills actually pending at the state. House Bills 5529 through 5532 that essentially, if enacted, will strip local governments of their authority to make zoning decisions. That drastically impacts our residents. And to the point that was made here tonight with GLEWA, I firsthand have been at the state and seen when letter upon letter upon letter of opposition have been received, and our legislators have gotten like 500 pages, and it has caused them to vote no. It does not matter if that letter says the exact same thing. It is the amount of people that reach out. So if any residents are interested and could reach out, if they don't know what wording to use, I'm happy to write that letter for you. So that drastically will affect our local government, our planning commission, our zoning commission, and how development happens in our community. It'll be a one-size-fits-all instead of allowing each community to make their own rules. The other thing I wanted to say is shouts out to the community development, which left too soon for us to say anything. Redevelopment Ready really has been a huge undertaking for Giles and the CED team. When he said it's been 5 years, it honestly has been 5 years. And many things help push that across the line. The final piece that we had is with the help of Kindred, who rushed out with a camera, but I want to say a special thanks to her helping get the marketing plan finalized and complete so we could just zip that up. It's going to allow us to have a lot of technical assistance, but one of the things that they didn't touch on is they help do marketing and plans for available parcels in your community. So the MEDC is going to be helping us with the parcel that's on 11 Mile and John R. to make sure we get what we see as a good spot for our downtown developed there on the corner.
Okay, thank you. City Clerk, Cheryl Prince.
Nothing this evening.
Okay, Councilor Rohrbach.
The only thing that I didn't say during the meeting was, the co-responder program is, I believe, an incredible service to our most vulnerable residents. And, I think we have to keep funding it as a priority for our city going forward. So just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gerald.
I would like to agree with the other co-responder support. It is vital for helping our residents, most vulnerable. Great expression. I would like to thank the Asian groups that invited us to their Lunar New Year celebrations. They were very enlightening for me and enriching, and so thank you for that opportunity. The city is hosting its last coffee concert on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, if anybody would like to come. And Councilman Muir, congratulations, and thank you for your dedication to the MML program.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming.
Yes, I have a couple of items here. First of all, if you may have seen on Facebook or in the news that Consumers Energy is replacing, they have a project to replace like 13 miles or so, maybe shorter than that, of a natural pipeline that's going from, all the way from Clawson through Madison Heights to Warren. And this is a lot of the pipeline is made out of cast iron and steel. I know here in our neighborhoods, just on the street on 11 Mile from my house, last year they had a leak. Consumers Energy had a leak on their cast iron pipeline, because remember they had the construction down 11 Mile, and they found it. And this is really important because we don't want a gas leak and anything happening to any of our residents. And so they're going to be replacing them all with PVC, which will be lasting for years to come. It's the same projects that they've been doing for homes, where they remove your steel or cast iron service line to a more flexible PVC line to make it more safe and more resilient to leaks. So I think that's a great service that they're doing. I know that, I don't think that Consumers has been raising their rates at the same rate as DTE or Gliwa, but they, they're probably coming down the line. But that's, well, you can see it, that they're actually implementing improvements. Also, I want to talk about the flock cameras. A couple of years ago, we had a vehicle stolen, one of my vehicles, off of a property here in Madison Heights. And Flock actually played a role in finding our vehicle within another city that was over 20 miles away. And so Flock cameras, aren't just used for, tracking down stolen vehicles, but also solving crimes that are where the suspects, after the fact that it's occurred, and they have to find suspects that, based on just vehicle descriptions that are, very, not very good. For instance, the color of the car and some type of, maybe it had a bumper sticker that said this or whatnot. And then Flock goes and does its little AI thing and comes back with a match, sort of, But I want to say that it's not just a computer doing that. We have detectives and other law enforcement who are looking at that information and actually doing police work with the assistance of flock cameras and other resources of investigative tools that we use. So that's what I want to talk it's for tonight. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and in closing, just a few comments. I want to speak to what Councilor Gerald's talked about is myself and several council members were able to attend a couple of Asian Lunar New Year celebrations over the past week. They were amazing, and it was just great to be immersed in their culture and be part of their New Year event. Those were just amazing. I did get a chance over the last week to present retired Councilmember Margene Scott with the Random Acts of Kindness proclamation. And it was so great just to see the smile on her face, to know that we're still thinking about her and still keeping in force the Random Acts of Kindness Week here in Madison Heights. So it was just fantastic to be able to share a few minutes with her and present her with that proclamation. And congrats to Mayor Pro Tem Muir for getting through level 1. We'll be looking forward to watching you walk gracefully across the stage at CapCon. So, and again, something that we all have kind of spoken about tonight, but really, with all of these things that are happening, such as the Gliwa raising the rates, and what's going on with some of these other issues, is we really need to stick together, and that's really been the whole idea behind council here, is that we're together in fighting some of these things, like these zoning ordinances or the zoning that the state wants to take control of. But it's very important that not only are we together, but we're together with the other cities that face the same problems that we're facing, and that we have the ownership of our residents too, and that they come together with us and help oppose these things that we can do our best to oppose. So just as a final comment, I guess, for tonight, just talking about the flock cameras, I do know that specifically here in Madison Heights, and I know in other cities as well, but specifically here, there is a policy in place that was put in place before flock was, brought into the city, to help prevent any misuse by officers and any sharing that shouldn't be had. So it will be interesting just to make sure that that is still being followed. And because I tell you, the flock cameras are a great tool for law enforcement, and they have been used to solve multiple homicides and multiple other very serious crimes by being able to look at license plates and put information in so that you can attempt to at least locate what vehicle may have been involved in an incident. So other than that, I hope everyone has a great week, and I will adjourn the meeting at 7:44 PM.